For which things' sake the wrath of God cometh on the children of disobedience, in the which ye also walked some time when ye lived in them. But now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds. You've probably heard this before because it's the most common verses that people are going to bring up when they talk about whether a person should curse or not. And when I say curse, I mean the modern version of what cursing means, which is cussing, inappropriate language, things that are going to probably stress out everyone in the room. What I just read was Colossians chapter 3, verses 6 through 9. Well, let's actually expound on that because there's plenty of verses in the Bible that go into great detail explicitly condemning cursing in the way that we understand it, and cursing in the sense of cursing someone that they would go to hell or something of the sort, because that's a very real thing to say, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But we're going to jump to James chapter 3 and read the whole chapter. My brethren, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. If any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able also to bridle the whole body. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body. Behold also the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whithersoever the governor listeth. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity, so is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beasts, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea, is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison. Therewith bless we God, even the Father, and therewith curse we men, which are made after the similitude of God. Out of the same mouth proceedeth blessings and cursings. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doth a fountain send forth at the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries, either vine, figs? So can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him shew out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. Now, I would say that chapter actually goes into a lot of detail about how we should be speaking to people beyond just cursing, but cursing is definitely a huge part of it. We need to be different from the rest of the world. We need to be better. Everything we say, everything we do should be encouraging and uplifting and actually bringing, as this says, peace to whatever situation that we're in. We should not be the ones sowing discord by being the unruly ones, the ones that are cursing up a storm and just making everyone around us uncomfortable because we can't actually control what's coming out of our mouths. God expects more of us, and the things that we say matter. We like to think that words are just inventions, they are social constructs, we can do whatever we want with them, they only mean what we mean them to mean. But in reality, they have very real definitions, and most of them are rather appalling when you actually look into something like what the F word means. But we can have a very severe impact on people just by the choice of words that we use. We can shock an entire room just by saying a single curse word, or we can choose to always use language that's acceptable around everyone, because that's the kind of language that a Christian should be using. Nothing foul, nothing wrong. And there's nothing masculine about using words that we shouldn't use. They come from a place of anger. They come from a place of filler. They never actually add anything to what you're saying other than making it more vulgar, making it more offensive to the people around you. And as Christians, we should not be offensive pointlessly. Yes, there are going to be times where we have to offend people by telling them the gospel, by telling them the truth of Jesus Christ, by telling them about God. But if we're offending people just by who we are as a person, our own personality, and acting as we were acting before we became Christians, that's not helpful at all. That's actually pushing people away from God. And we have to be aware of such things. I say this as someone who used to make these kinds of excuses, who thought words didn't mean anything, and that people just had to develop a thicker skin and kind of get over it, because it's just normal about how people talk. But it's not right, it's not okay, and there's no excuse. God holds us to a very high standard, and this is one of those things, controlling our tongue. As men, it's easy to fall into a trap that somehow if you're not cursing, if you're not giving in to this kind of anger, that you're somehow not being as masculine because you care about these kinds of things. But ultimately, you'll be always showing the best version of yourself when you can clean up your language and be the best version of you that you can be. And as kind of a side note, I think everyone kind of knows this intuitively, because if you were to go to a job interview right now, you're not going to be cursing. You're going to be doing your absolute best. If you were to be around a bunch of children, I would hope that you would stop cursing for their benefit, because you know it's wrong. If you were to see someone who you elevate and respect and you think very highly of, more likely than not, you're going to stop cursing because you want them to think highly of you. People know this on a subconscious level, but they choose to ignore it in their everyday conversation. And we got to do better. Going forward, be the Christian that you are supposed to be. These are the kinds of standards that God has for you. For all of us. And we can do it, because we have the Holy Spirit indwelling inside of us, and we have been given power to do things that might otherwise have been extremely difficult for us. Don't make excuses. Don't say you can't do it. Don't say it's just a natural part of how you were raised, or any of the other things that are coming to your mind right now. It is possible for you to stop cursing. It is wrong for you to be cursing. And so today you have to decide that you're going to stop. So starting today, stop cursing.